There we go. Hello everyone. Glad you're joining me here again tonight. Let's just turn that sound off so I don't hear everything twice. In for a good night tonight, I hope. I've got a special guest. I've only spoken to him for a total of about 30 seconds. A guy from New Zealand called Flat Earth NZ, also known as Craig. He'll be popping in just a second. Later on, we will have Jut Monkey, hopefully Kiri Mac, and a few more people as well. So it's going to be an interesting mix. We're going to be live right up to the start of the Shill Show, at which point I'll ask if you can all jump over there, and it should be great stuff. I'll tell you a bit more about that in a minute. Now, let's see. Craig, are you there? Do you want to step in and say hello? Hi. So, Craig from New Zealand. We spoke, as I said, for about 30 seconds and 30 seconds only. Do you want to tell us something about yourself? Cool. A real live flat earther. So I did hear you just before we came on, just chatting with Jut before we had to run off, getting ready for the Shill Show. I did hear you start to tell him about how you came to, sorry, colon, we're just in the middle of something. If you could just mute your mic a sec, mate, thank you. Yeah, you just started to tell Jut how you came to be a flat earther. Oh, well, sorry. One second. I don't think they can hear you. Can you hear me? Hold on, Craig. Craig, can you hear me? Craig, I don't know what. Craig, can you hear me? Right, sorry, go ahead. Craig, I do apologise. Can you hear me now? Craig? Hello? I managed to screw up the sound, everyone. Hopefully Craig will come back in. Hold on. Craig, are you there? We seem to have lost Craig. Hopefully he can come back in. Yeah.
There you go. I can hear you typing.
Good. And you back in here.
Yes.
Craig,
Yep.
Unfortunately, I had the sound off while you started talking, so we'll have to start again. I apologise. So
Okay.
please start again. You were telling us how you came to accept the flat earth.
Yeah, well, I didn't actually accept it at first. I thought it was pretty ridiculous. A mate of mine turned up telling me that the earth is flat. And I was trying to make sense of it. What do you mean the earth's flat? How? And I was questioning him, and he's just like,
Yeah.
look, just watch this one video.
What was that?
And I'm like, realize, and realize.
I've heard that. I've not watched it, but I have heard of it. Who was that by?
Okay. I'm not too sure who it's by because there's a few of them, and I think the top search result when you come back is some Indian guy talking about something that's not about the flat Earth. But if you keep looking for the flat Earth one, it's about 28 minutes, I think, the video. And that just got me a little taste. I wanted to know more about this, and so I looked deeper and further, and it just started to blow my mind what I was uncovering, and it just made me start to question things, like even just to be consciously aware of the things that we just accept because that's what we're taught, and as we've gone on, like this is a year ago, up until this point.
So how long was it when you first started looking at it? How long from first starting to look at it did you think, right, yeah, that's the answer? It's not globe, it's flat.
Okay, so I tussled with it. So I probably a month, I was like, oh my God, it's flat. I started telling people, my friends, and they're laughing at me.
Yeah.
As you know, life continues on. You've still got work and whatnot. And then I started looking into about creation and like the Anunnaki, and that made me think, well, space and that must exist because there's
Sorry,
a planet
what must exist?
Naribu and
Sorry, what must exist?
space and planets and
Okay, so you
and
accept,
like
you accept those.
no, that at the time, and then I started to doubt. I was like, went like, well, maybe the flat Earth. I started to get a few doubts, and then I caught up with my friend again, and it like I did a bit more research about it because at the time I was going through a separation with my wife, and so and then now it's confirmed. Like I know 100%. Like I'm 100% committed to flat Earth.
You're absolutely sure.
Absolutely sure. Like without a doubt, I would put my life up on the line for it. Like,
Really?
that's how much.
So,
Yeah.
so you know, I would hope that anyone in any position, holding any position, would be open to evidence and persuasion. Would you think you would be? Not here and now, but just generally. You know, do you think? Yeah, okay. If someone could show me something, some evidence that would convince me, I could be convinced away from flat Earth again. Could you imagine that?
You've gone off again.
What do you mean? Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
Yeah, I just said, can you imagine a situation where I or someone else presents you with some evidence and you consider it and say, actually, yeah, I'm convinced it's not flat, it is a globe. Are you open to that?
Am I open to that?
Mm.
Like I'm open to anything because if the evidence is there, well, yeah, of course I'm open to looking at that. But like from what I've seen, you know, with the lies and the deception from NASA and the fake moon landings, satellites, I mean, they just can't give us answers, and like that to me raises serious questions. So that makes me think, well, why? You know, what's going on? And then you've got experiments, you know, like the horizon level and water. We know water. Well, water always settles to its own level, and I've never seen water stick to the outside of a ball and stay there. Like
The problem.
these are obvious things. They say gravity, like this magical force of gravity, but when you start digging into actually gravity, you know, it's only a theory. There's no proof about gravity. It's just a
you know,
theory.
with respect, I'd stop you there when you say theory, because that's a contentious word, because the scientific word theory is as solid as it gets. You do understand that, don't you? As opposed to sorry, you don't.
Oh, that's as solid as it gets.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
well,
What I mean is, for instance, let's come away from flat Earth. Let's talk about germ theory, or
germs.
Yeah, it's called germ theory. Now, the thing is, there's lots of evidence, and they have hypotheses and develop experiments, and some experiments fail, or they adjust the belief and whatever, and they come up with a well-supported body of evidence, and that becomes eventually a theory. Okay, like the theory of evolution, the theory of gravity. It doesn't mean it's that's a good idea. It might be that they stick to the Earth. You know, and that's our theory. It's not as vague as that. It's not the same as the word theory you and I might use in everyday life.
Okay, well, it's an explanation, really, isn't it, to give understanding to why we stick to the Earth.
But you can measure gravity. You know how sorry, go ahead.
No, so I'm listening. You can measure gravity.
Yeah, you can measure gravity, and it varies very slightly around the Earth. I mean, when you get into all the technicalities, it's too much for me. I'm not a mathematician. I'm not a scientist. I'm an ordinary guy. Are you just an ordinary guy? I presume so. But
I'm
yeah,
just an ordinary guy, mate.
yeah. So different areas of the Earth, the gravitational pull varies due to the spin of the Earth.
Okay. And like, so yeah, they bring out all these things and they say why, but if they can't make it make sense, then like, how are we supposed to accept it just because some scientist says so? No, when the answer of buoyancy and density is simple and it makes sense. Like,
Yeah, but you do
it
realise that for buoyancy,
works.
gravity is
Gravity,
involved. Yes.
no, well, it's not. Buoyant. It's just what's heavier will fall, and what's lighter then it will float.
Okay.
And gravity, what is something that sticks us to the Earth, but yet it holds the moon away to orbit around us, and
But
yet
you said
won't-
sorry, go on. I don't mean to
pulling,
interrupt.
it's pulling and it's pushing and it's so just they use it for whatever they feel like they want it to mean. Like, it's just not enough for me. I'm not saying that there's just not enough there for me to accept that. Like, when I've consciously looked at it now, made to like question it.
So but you said you used the word heavy. What was it? You're talking about buoyancy and you're saying about one thing that's heavier. What is heavy? Heavy is weight, isn't it? And weight is mass times gravitational acceleration.
Anything.
Do you see what I mean? If you have two objects...
I'm not hearing any of that.
You're not hearing me? Oh dear. Hello? Can you hear me now? I don't know if the problem's your end.
Oh, there you go. No, you're back now.
Yeah, I don't know what the problem is. I've not adjusted anything. Never mind. Yeah, I was just saying, you spoke about buoyancy and how something is less heavy than something else, less dense, and I do understand all that. But heavy and weight, that's mass affected by acceleration, the gravity. You see? So, I mean, I don't know if you've come across Sleeping Warrior, Anthony Riley, and his egg experiment, making eggs float in water by adding salt to the water, of course, changing the density, and then the egg floats. Have you seen his videos?
No.
He is a flat earther, and so he considers that he has manipulated the medium, the water, made it more dense, therefore the egg goes up. Whereas, yes, the water is more dense, so because it is more dense per cubic centimetre than the egg, that's pulled down harder. So it pushes the egg out of the way and upwards. And that's exactly the same with a helium balloon. A helium balloon is pulled towards the Earth by gravity, but the air is pulled down more because it's denser. Hey, listen, I'll tell you what, Craig. We're getting into a debate, and I honestly said to you, let's just chat, and that is what I wanted to do.
Sure.
Yep,
absolutely.
I mean, you seem like a nice guy.
I'm not prepared for a debate anyway.
No, and that's fine. If you would like to, we can organise one. I think we get on fine. We could have an interesting debate, and we could each prepare, some positions to defend and evidence. So, I mean, let's just say, for the sake of argument, the buoyancy of a balloon. If you chose that, then you could defend and explain why you think it shows what you think it shows, and obviously I'll try and debunk it, and I'll give you a couple of things for you to debunk, and I'll have to evidence. Does that sound good?
Yeah, that sounds fair.
Yeah, no, that sounds great, and I'd like to organise that because, like I said, we're having a respectful and pleasant conversation, and I'm glad you trusted me to come on. Yeah.
Hey, I believed in that we lived on a globe quite staunchly as well. Like, when I first about this, it's like I didn't ask to for it to be bestowed on me to be absolutely convinced, and but it has been. Like, no one likes to be ridiculed and be the minority.
Of course not.
Made fun of, and that's what happens, which is I find it quite strange too. That the aggression that goes towards people who think the Earth is flat just seems way out of context, and like it's just funny.
Well, the thing is, for the sake of argument, let's say we were having this debate now. we're speaking respectfully and listening to each other. Occasionally, because we're doing it on Discord, we accidentally talk over each other, but that's just no more than accidental. But sorry, I'm losing my trail of thought now. Yeah, we're having this conversation, and I can totally disagree with you, and I presume you could totally disagree with me, and that's fine. We'll just give evidence and try and persuade each other. Now, where it gets problematical is if you just respectfully gave your position, and I started effing and blinding and calling you an idiot and all those sort of things. That's not right. But of course, if you were being like that to me, then I'd be well within my rights to chuck that sort of thing back at you. But that's not what's happening here, is it?
Absolutely.
So, I mean, have you got any other people you deal with, Flat Earth friends, family, partner? I don't know.
No, so it's just like me and my mate who brought me to it. I try, like, talk to people I know. There's a few people, but I find a lot of people just don't understand. Like, it makes no difference to them. Like their daily lives, they're too busy. 9-to-5 job. They're just caught up in the material world, and they don't understand.
So you and your mate
round or flat, like, makes no difference to me. Like, they don't see past.
Sorry, I don't know if you're dropping out again. I don't know if you've got a problem with the connection at your end, Craig. Hello? Oh no, I think we lost him again. Craig.
Yeah, no, I'm here. I'm back.
Okay, yep. Well, listen. I mean, if any time you drop out, just jump back in again. That's not a problem, mate. Okay, so I don't know what the issue is.
You just keep cutting out sometimes in and out, and then it comes right again. I don't know why. My internet's all good.
Let me just ask in the chat. So am I cutting out, or just Craig?
That's those ground-based cables of our communication.
Well, I just asked in the chat, so perhaps someone can let us know, because I don't know if I'm dropping out at my end. The stream looks good. The video's not cutting. I'd expect that to go. But yeah, apparently it's just you. It's just you.
Okay.
But that could still potentially be a problem at my end. But it would be with the feed that's coming through. Yes, I was just saying, it's just you and your buddy.
And my mate. Yeah, so I've tried. My girlfriend and that. I've a lot of people haven't been made aware of it too, as well. But I've just been racking my brain lately of how do I, what am I going to do? Because I can't just. I've got a big calling that I have to do something with this information because.
What about Flat Earth?
Well, yeah, because the rabbit hole just goes deep and deep and deep and deep, and like, it's the mother of all of everything. Like, you lift the lid off the flat Earth, it exposes everything, and it goes back a long way, and like, it's the umbrella of like a lot of things, and everything ties into it.
Actually, Craig, I've just been asked a question. It was a few minutes ago, but I just got it in the chat. Someone said just now, did you go to the Flat Earth New Zealand show?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
I wasn't a flat earther then either, and of course I wouldn't, because the Flat Earth Society and Mark Sargent are a total joke, and
interesting.
They're controlled opposition, like hard, like, yeah. There's only one true place if you want genuine information, because there's so much out there that are shells, trolls, controlled opposition.
No, I've heard
the reality of it.
I've heard some flat earthers say that. So, what do you think it is? Sort of insiders pretending to be flat earthers to try and make them, look silly, or what? What do you mean?
Yeah. Well, that's it. So they give you part truth, and then they'll just be absolutely totally ridiculous. Like Mark Sargent, their answer for gravity is that the Earth is rising. The flat Earth is rising at so much of a speed.
9.8 meters per second.
Yes, something ridiculous like that. Just makes people laugh at it completely and disregard it, and then they don't look at it again.
Now,
and that's his job.
A lot of people, Craig, might not have heard of that. Now, I have, because I spent a lot of time over several years actually looking at the Flat Earth Society online forums long before I started looking at this on YouTube. And so they've got that theory, as you said, about the whole Earth as a flat circle, I presume, rushing upwards at 9.8 meters per second, which would mean it feels exactly the same as a gravitational pull of 9.8 meters per second. The problem being within a very short space of time, because you're not just going at a speed, you're accelerating. At a very short time, you'll be exceeding the speed of light, or trying to.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is very silly.
I mean, it's just it's so ridiculous, and people need to be aware of that. Why this is like he's paid, this is his job, because they need to make the flat Earth seem so ridiculous that people don't turn to it, because it's if it was to come out like I said, it would fucking be chaos. You know, it would change the world completely,
So
in every way.
So just sort of.
And I know you're not a spiritual man. You don't believe in God.
No, I don't. No.
Yeah.
Do you? Then?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
I mean,
because I was going to say.
No, I'm not a Christian or anything, but I know that there's a creator and there's something that created all this, and that like we're designed, you know.
Okay. Well, it seems like there's some rich themes for discussion there. I'd love to chat to you about that creation, evolution.
Like I said,
it
all ties in together. Like I said, everything ties into this. It's quite amazing.
Just a question: are you a young Earth creationist, sort of 6,000 to 10,000 years old, or old Earth creationist? You gone again?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, right. Yeah, I was just saying, are you a young Earth creationist, 6,000 to 10,000 years-ish, or an old Earth creationist?
Oh, I have no idea how old the Earth is. I just know that our history goes back to about 5,000 or 6,000 years, and we're way older than that.
No, that's...
The Sphinx is a lot older, right?
Yeah, and so I'll just interrupt, just to say to everyone out there listening, me and Craig just had a couple of Discord messages back and forth briefly this afternoon or late this morning, whatever, to see if we could get him to come on. And I was telling him what to expect, and that it's just pretty much what we're doing now, just friendly chat. But I did say to him that just saying I don't know is a perfectly respectable position to hold, because I certainly don't know anything, don't know everything by a long way. You just can't, can you, Craig?
No, you can't, and like we can't know everything. We're not supposed to, but I'm not a dumb person, you know what I mean? And like I give everything. I back myself when I do know something. I'll back myself all the way, and I don't care if I'm the minority or people don't agree. Like if I'm sure that I will back myself. But if I don't know, I don't know.
Well,
no shame in that.
Oh, that's fair enough. No, there's no shame in that. And if you are convinced by the evidence that you see, then you're absolutely right to defend what the logical outcome of that evidence is. Obviously, I would query whether the evidence you got is the right evidence, or accurate evidence or whatever. But if you felt it is, then that's the position you should take, really.
Well, we can see like a lot, like there's the curvature is supposed to drop 8 inches per mile squared or something like that. 8
inches per mile, 8 inches squared per mile. Yeah. So 8 inches the first mile, 64 inches the second mile, and so on.
And there's so many like examples out there of things we can see that we shouldn't be able to see, and with knowing that of our own observations of water is always level.
What do you mean by level?
Like it always settles to its own level. So the top, we use water in our builders' levels, everything.
Yep.
You put water in a cup, a bathtub, a lake, a canal.
Yep.
It's level. It doesn't curve.
But then
it just doesn't.
What comes into that then is the question of scale, because obviously a cup is absolutely minuscule. Even something like a canal running a few tens of miles is not much in the scale of the Earth. Hence you got that Bedford level experiment. Have you ever looked at that?
I've heard of it.
We've heard of it. It's sorry, I just lost my lighter. It's where the guy's name escapes me. I'll think of it in a minute. The guy who started all that is Zetetic.
Oh yeah, Sam Rowbotham.
That's the one. Yeah, so his experiment was to row a boat along the Bedford level, which is a dead straight canal, and see if it dipped below the horizon. There was arguments about whether the experiment was done properly, and it was a bet between him and some other guy, and it all went to court, and goodness knows what else. But even so, that's not a very big distance. I think it was 5 or 6 miles. So any curve you get will only be a small amount. Oh, actually, while I've got you on here, Craig, someone's just asked me, Lord of the Hornets, and I was going to ask you something similar earlier. How would you explain the fact that the stars in the southern hemisphere, or at least your area of the plane, shall we say, but in your area, that they rotate around a point where in what let me think, clockwise, anti-clockwise, I can't remember which way round, and here in the north it's the other way round. Can you explain that at all, or do you have any thoughts on that?
You dropped off, so you're talking about the stars?
Yeah, rotating in different directions, north and south of the equator.
North and south of the equator. Okay,
yeah, so up here, if I was to look towards the north,
as in if you're in the north, obviously, which you are,
yeah.
and I'm in the south,
so they do rotate the opposite direction. Yeah.
Well, if you were to look at them, depends what way you're facing. You know, if you're facing towards me, they're going to be going to your right or whatever. If I'm facing you, they'll be going to my left. So it's just.
Yeah, but
do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. That could be like standing in the central reservation of a road. If you faced one side, the traffic's going past you in one direction, but the traffic. Yeah, I know what the sort of thing you're talking about. But no, I'm talking about if I placed a camera, pointed it at the pole star Polaris.
Yes.
With a long exposure, obviously you get the star trails and it's rotating one way. Now I know that there is no south pole of the star, but this is the same area of the sky, and if you do the same there to get the star trails, they're going in the opposite direction.
We can't. Well, like
yes.
Can't see Polaris from where I am.
No. I know you can't. So I could see Polaris. So I'm pointing northwards at Polaris.
Yeah. So if we're both facing north, you're saying?
No. I'm facing north. Okay, at Polaris. You're facing south at the area of the sky that's above the South Pole. Okay.
Yes.
And we both have cameras on long exposures. We both get star trails. On mine, the rotation is one direction. On yours, it's the other. Now, if you imagine imagine a basketball. You know the old basketball players, the Harlem Globetrotters, when they spin it on their finger.
Yes.
So I'm looking at, and if you had an imaginary finger at the top as well. So I'm looking at the finger at the top, you're looking at the finger at the bottom. The ball is only going one way round, but I'd be rotating one direction around the finger, you'd be rotating the opposite direction, which works if it was a ball, but I don't understand how it could work if it was flat.
Okay. So to me, I don't know specifically, you know, so I'm only just sort of guessing. Like, so there's no South Pole, like you said, so there's no southern star. Everything rotates around Polaris. So you're facing north with your camera, it's going one way, and you said to me, I'm facing south. So if I'm facing south, it's going to be going the opposite way to me. Like, if I was to face north as well, I would assume that they would be going, it would be the same way. I'm not too sure. I don't know. Something I need to look into, perhaps.
Yeah, well, please do, because that's interesting. And if we had a plane, the Earth was a plane, and the stars above were in effect, we won't argue about how, but they were in a plane above, rotating, then and all rotating in the same direction. That's fine, but then how could you take those photos of star trails rotating in little circles when you're pointing southwards?
Yeah, so I don't know. I haven't seen any photos of them going. So you're saying they're rotating around something in the south?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm not. Don't know.
Okay.
Can't answer it.
No,
But I'm
that's
interested in finding out because I like to test. I like to be challenged and because I want to know the truth. After all, I just want to know the truth. And
I mean, that's all anyone can ask, Craig. I think that's brilliant. Yeah, so have a look at.
something's not right though because we're not on a spinning ball going around the sun, going around the Milky Way, going around the galaxy because the stars have not.
Hello.
Time, and
Sorry, Craig, you just dropped again.
There's
Try
just
that again.
heaps of stuff that we just they sell to us, but it's there's no evidence. Where's an? They say they went to the moon. They didn't. Where's a photo of the Earth that's not CGI?
Well, there is photos.
Is that not reasonable to? In this day and age, they think that they send a rover to Mars, but you can't give us a real photo of the Earth.
Well, from Mars.
Why?
Sorry. Can
why
you
do
still
they come
hear
out?
Me? Sorry, Craig. Can you still hear me? Craig. Hello. Oh, drat this rotten line.
Dropping out.
Yeah, are you back again? Are you back again? Craig, do you want to try disconnecting and reconnecting? Oh, what a
Hello. Yeah, you're back now. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I did hear you saying about photos of the Earth and CGI and the rover on Mars. Well, from Mars, Earth would be no more than just a bright star, I think. But there is that we do take photos of the Earth that are not CGI or stitched together at all. And you should have a look at the Himawari satellite, which is in an orbit.
This is Japanese.
That's right. It's far enough away that it can capture the whole Earth. Because if you think,
I don't believe it. CGI. It's not real. Right.
Although it would match up with all the weather patterns and storms and things like that.
Like technology that they've got these days, they're cunning.
Okay.
It's a massive deception because people want to know why. Why.
Well, let's approach this slightly differently then. If you're saying the Himawari might be fake and that, why would anyone do it? Why?
Why? So
what is there to gain?
So there's an agenda by the people or the entities, that run things here, that are behind everything. And don't believe in God, but there's some spiritual stuff going on, and Satan's real. And I'm not a God basher, and I don't even like bringing in God to the argument. Okay, but he's a real force. Now, from my understanding,
sorry, Craig, can you hear some talking?
Can I hear some talking?
I can hear some flat Earth talking, but I'm not sure what it is. Some lady talking. It seems to have stopped now.
Okay, now I can't hear anything like that.
And some music I can hear now. I don't know where it's coming from.
Okay, it's not me.
Sorry, you carry on then. I'll see if I can get to the bottom of that.
Okay, so you got the banking system and all the rest of it that's designed to fail. So the New World Order, like a one world government, is what they're after, a complete sort of control. They want to control the world. And how will they do that? How will they get to a New World Order?
Now, another way
they need to have a worldwide threat of some sort. And I'm guessing either an alien invasion, which will obviously be fake, because we're in an enclosed flat plane, as far as I'm concerned, or an asteroid
with a dome.
Well, there's got to be something because we're in a pressurized, place. We have to be enclosed. You can't have pressurized gases that just thin out and dissipate into nothingness, into a vacuum. It's just proven scientifically it can't be that way.
Although if you, I don't know if you're a mountaineer, I'm certainly not, because heights scare the bejesus out of me. But if you started climbing up Everest, the air pressure's getting lower and lower until it's too thin to breathe without, oxygen tanks, or just about.
But that's because there's lots of gases in our atmosphere, and like I said, the density and buoyancy, they all settle to their own level. So the oxygen is going to thin out the higher you get.
Yeah,
because
but
it's heavier.
so do all the other gases. The
Yeah,
actual
but what-
mix. I was just going to say the actual mix of oxygen and nitrogen and the other elements that make up the atmosphere are pretty much the same everywhere. But as you get higher, it thins and thins and thins until there's not enough for you to breathe. And if you go higher still, the pressure gets lower and lower. You think if you're at 40,000 feet in an aircraft, the air pressure outside is way on down. There's you just could not survive. And so if it's carrying on like that, getting higher and higher, until how can there be that variation even between ground level and a few hundred feet up or a couple of thousand feet?
This is without being an expert.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of pressurized deodorant cans or fly spray or something.
Yeah.
Sometimes when it gets starting to get a bit like, you can spray and it's empty, but actually it just needs a good shake. Because that part of where it was trying to blow out of mustn't have been much pressure there. So I'm saying there's probably variances in pressure everywhere, just like we can see for ourselves in, like what I just said, fly spray or deodorant or stuff like that.
I'm certainly not an expert on that, but I believe.
At a guess. I don't know. Like, I don't know scientifically or anything. I'm just guessing there, really.
But what I'd say with regard to the cans, if you're holding a can, you shake it, it can feel colder. Do you ever notice that? If you shake a pressurized can, it can feel cold. It's as you're agitating the liquid in there, the pressurized liquid, so it becomes more gaseous, which provides the gaseous air pressure to do your spray of fly spray or whatever. But I don't know all the ins and outs of that either, so I'll be fair on that.
Well, I only shake a can of Coke when it's someone I want to wind up so that they open it up and it sprays all in their face.
And there we go, we got the Jutmonk.
Haha,
No.
oi oi.
I'm here now. I dropped out, sorry. I don't know what's going on.
I just gave you some chat about the cans of spray, but never mind, don't worry. Good
I'm
evening,
probably
Jutmonk.
not doing my case very well, like with stuff like that. But that's just at a guess. I have no idea why. But like when people start going to me, like asking me why, I say, okay, forget about the flat Earth, for a moment, and just let's question the globe, like the globe Earth. Like, it's just things don't add up.
Have you got some questions to ask us, Globis, then?
Do I? What was I just saying before about the whole deception thing? Who's behind it and all the rest of it? Yeah, an alien invasion and whatnot, to scare the world into panic.
You dropped out again.
Threat.
Sorry, Craig, you dropped out again.
And are you there?
Yes.
Yeah,
we're
keep
here.
dropping out, mate.
Craig?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you want to just try reloading or something and come straight back in?
Okay. So,
Yeah.
okay.
We'll just see if it helps. Hello.
Well,
We got the Jutmonk in the house. Oh,
yeah, man. Yeah, man. While he's doing that, I would say hello to a few people in the chat show. We got the Snark, Irish Stew, Oi Oi, Monocron, Marmata, Larlark, Light Source, whatever your name is. Yeah, Mono. All right, bro. Pie Parrot, yay. Some of these people I don't know, but hello those I don't know. Dark Knight Apologetics, thank you very much. You're awesome too, bro. Lord of the Hornets, rock and roll. I know we got Colon in the house as well. Rider of Dinosaurs, Gary Graham, man. Thank you very much for doing that for me. I am absolutely blown away. He's only going and sending me a glass, my own glass.
I know. He sent me a glass. It's fantastic.
Is it? You got one, have you?
Yes, indeed.
Oh, awesome. Sarcastic Barman's in the house. He's got one as well. He's got no wrench, though, you plum.
Now, Craig, you've briefly chatted with Jutmonk, haven't you?
Just probably for about 3 minutes.
Yes. He's a lively character, ain't you, Jup?
Just a tad, bruv. You know, I'm a monkey, ain't I? You know what I mean? While I'm talking to you, I'm jumping around, doing backflips, throwing stuff around, you know?
And if you ever go and visit his channel, which I would recommend, be prepared for a shock, because to say his language is ripe on his channel is not is just an understatement, isn't it, Chuck?
Yeah, well, put it this way, I will never earn a penny off it.
Not from YouTube.
No, not from YouTube. I think they demonetize every video the moment I've opened my mouth.
Or loaded your PC. I tell you what, give me 10 seconds. If you guys carry on, I've just got to let the cat in.
Coolio. So, Craig,
Yo,
good?
I'm good. I'm good. You good?
Yeah. So, we were having a nice little chat there and getting into it and whatnot. You've done observation and come to this conclusion.
Well, I've
Yourself.
read a lot of stuff. I've watched a lot of stuff, and you know, I'm just the people I look at that try and debunk the flat Earth. What I know when I'm watching them, nothing debunks anything. It's quite laughable, and like the likes of Neil deGrasse Tyson and what's the other guy's name? Something got Nye, Bill Nye or something.
Bill Nye, the Science Guy.
Bill Nye. Yeah.
I mean, for fuck's sake! Like, sorry about that. I don't know if I can swear, but
How dare you swear on this channel?
No, Craig. The odd swear word slipping in like that is not a problem. Jup Monk being Jup Monk would be a problem, wouldn't it, Jup?
it's a good taste, you know what I mean. But these guys are just the Muppets. Like they're just puppets to fool everyone, and I see through it. I do, and sometimes I wish I couldn't, but like, it makes life way more harder actually. Like, especially when you've got kids and stuff as well. Like, you know, you got to try and make the world a better place for them and all the rest of it, yada yada yada. But I just want to point out, like, give massive credit to who I look at being so fundamental in nowadays in the flat Earth movement, and it's Eric Dubay.
No.
Yes.
No.
Do you know? I'll tell you about Eric Dubay. When I started,
you love his music. I love his rap.
Craig, when I started my YouTube channel, I tore ligaments in my ankle playing football, so I was basically off work for about 3.5 months. And I was watching all these debunk videos, and I was like, sod it, I'm going to have a go at that. And the first thing I did was start a series where I'd done a video every day called Your 5 a Day, and I debunked 5 a day of Eric Dubay. 200 proof.
I'm very interested to look at your debunking videos to see if my assessment of whether you have in fact debunked it or not. Like, you know, for me.
Sure. No, I mean, not all of them needed debunking. Some videos I do. I done a video with M Benz, and at the end of the video, he says, "So come on in, all you Globers, debunk this if you can." And I ended the video with, "Doesn't need debunking, mate. It proves the globe." You know, they sometimes prove it themselves without realizing.
Now that's an interesting one. Craig, did you see Bob Nadell using the laser gyroscope?
No. Was this with Jeranism or something? Was that?
Yeah, it was on the same
and
film,
it was inconclusive,
same documentary.
Well, no, because he said, you know, if the Earth is turning, then the laser gyroscope should show what's the word? A deflection or whatever the word is of 15 degrees per hour.
Yeah, a shift. He said a drift.
A drift, yeah. And when they switched it on, it showed a drift of 15 degrees per hour. And obviously...
Yeah, but he's a Poe.
Maybe,
I don't think
maybe.
I don't think he's for because he's now accepted gravity and he's yeah I don't know what it is with him. I think it wouldn't surprise me if he just suddenly comes out and says, yeah, I've proved it's a globe or so. That wouldn't surprise me, But he's definitely I don't buy him.
Though that would actually agree then, Craig, with what you were saying earlier about I forgot what the term was, but the fake flat earthers.
Oh, the controlled opposition.
Yes. Do you think?
And there's so many out there. It's crazy because, like I said, this is a big thing. They can't let it get out. If it did, then they couldn't use their alien invasion or meteorite or asteroid strike because it wouldn't fly. So when you guys when they announced that aliens are here or whatever, and or asteroids coming, and you guys are all panicking, I'm just going to be sitting back chilling, knowing that none of that shit's actually going to be happening because it can't. So that's
I wouldn't panic either way. I'd just be like,
there's
wow.
not much you could do. Not much you can do.
Yeah, I'd just be blown away. I'd be like, wow.
But I'll tell you where I've been. Craig. I've been to Meteor Crater. I've stood on the edge of Meteor Crater in Arizona. That thing is stunning.
Have
you? I bet it is. I bet it's huge.
It is huge.
Is this where they say the cataclysmic event happened? What's his name? Graham Hancock.
Don't know him. It's not the dinosaur killer, if that's what you're talking about.
Well, dinosaurs never existed anyway.
Wow! I tell you, we are going to have a great time. Perhaps we could even have a series of debates if you're up to it. We'll catch up outside of this sometime. That would be brilliant. But yeah, so it's the crater. I think it's about 4 miles to walk around it, the circumference, and it's tall enough for the Washington Monument to stand in it. And in fact, I think it might have been back in the 1960s. Someone flew a light aircraft in it, but because the wind was whipping across the top, they couldn't get back out. They circled round for a while before they finally crashed, and the wreckage is still there in the bottom.
Really?
It's absolutely incredible. So getting back to my point, craters like that, and on the moon, of course. What would be your explanation for those then, Craig?
Craters on the moon, like I don't know. Believe there's craters there because the moon isn't, as far as what I know, is not a physical mass. It's a illuminating light.
How can it be a light when there's shadows of it though? That's the thing.
I don't have all the questions, but it's a light though. You look up in the sky, it's glowing, isn't it? Like
it's reflected
light. Yeah.
Oh, reflecting light from the sun.
Yes.
Yeah.
But okay. So why then is the moon light? So you can do this experiment yourselves.
Yeah.
You're not going to say cold, are you?
Are you going to say? You saying?
Yes,
cool,
I am going to say cold. I'm going to say it's colder in the moonlight than in the shadow of, in the shade of the night time.
Yeah, because when you're in the shade, it holds heat. That's why. But you could do it on a moonless night, and it would.
But in summer, in the daytime, it's hotter in the sunlight than it is in the shade.
Yeah.
So.
But I tell you what, right? Try if you've actually done that experiment. Do it with the moon there, and then do it on a moonless night, and you'll get the same result.
Ooh.
How can I? I've got no moonlight to.
No, but I'm on about the change in temperature. You go into the same place where it would be moonshade. You just do it in the same spots. So you do it, first of all, you find where your moonshade would be. You measure the temperature. Then you go out into the moonlight and you do it. And then when you have a moonless night, you do it in the same place. So you go back to that spot and then back out where you stood in the moonlight, where there is no moonlight. And I bet you get the same result.
Okay, then. One thing I just want to know, there has been lunar eclipses, guys, a bit of a talking point. So it's said to us that a lunar eclipse is when the Earth's shadow is cast over the moon.
Yeah.
But from the sun. But how can that be when there's been instances of a lunar eclipses where both the sun and the moon are above the horizon? Can you explain how that works on your globe model at all?
I would be very interested.
Can you explain how an eclipse works, period, on the flat Earth?
On the flat
Yes.
Earth, that'd be interesting. Yeah.
So-
So Craig,
You need, see, we
guys,
can
guys,
explain
guys.
an eclipse before you go on to a certain type of eclipse. We'll start at step one. We can explain an eclipse. Can you?
No, Jut,
Yes.
guys,
Yes.
guys,
Yeah.
guys. This
I
is
can.
interesting, but we don't need to get into a full-on debate. Okay, let's
No,
just.
okay.
I mean, it's quite. What is
But
really
I can't
interesting.
explain that one. No, I didn't know that.
No.
I think I've seen the one where there's two suns. As do you know? Have you seen that phenomena as well?
I've heard of this, and
Yeah,
from
I haven't
what
seen
they're
it with
trying
my
to
own
what they're
eyes.
trying to say. Yeah, I haven't seen it either. What they're trying to say that it is, and this would be the people that believe in the firmament, that it's a reflection of the firmament. Now, I don't know whether that's true. I've never seen two suns, but
No, I haven't seen it.
I could
Guys,
imagine that there are more suns though out further past the Antarctic ice wall and whatnot, perhaps. Who
well, I'm
knows?
going to just interrupt you there for a second because we have another guest has popped in. Chris, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, just sitting here listening to the conversation going on. Didn't really have a whole lot to add to it, so figured sitting in the background listening was better than trying to just interrupt and putting random words in.
Well, I did see you there, and then this has been such a fascinating conversation. I kept forgetting to pull you in until I got your message. Who we have in here tonight, Chris? Obviously, apart from myself, we've got Jet Monk, the Drunk Monkey. I think you've chatted before, and Craig, who is
Hey, mate.
who is a flat
How's it?
Earth believer from New Zealand.
Okay, yes. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon.
Good evening.
These time zones always get me confused sometimes. That's why I
Yeah.
prefer to go by universal time coordination, but
What's that? The time being 22:22.
yeah, let's see here. I'm 4 hours behind it right now. It's 5:30 local or 5:23 local. So
Yeah, 10:20
yeah, it'd be
where I am.
9:20.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
something like that.
So, is it late morning for you then, Craig?
It's mid morning. I think daylight savings or something. Had to put the clock forward overnight. I think I don't know.
It does
Hey,
make it all
Craig.
confusing.
Hey, Craig.
Yes.
I just have to say this before I forget. I have in my house some New Zealand Marmite.
Oh, lovely. Yes.
Yeah, man.
Beautiful.
Do you know Anti-Flatter? He's a creator, YouTuber,
No, I
and
don't.
a shill. Yeah, because you're quite new to it. Yeah, he's from New Zealand, and he
Okay.
works on a channel that I'm going on after, the Shills. We
Yes.
do a live show. You have to come and watch it, man. It's funny. We do
Okay.
a live show every Saturday and Thursday night, and he's from New Zealand, and he came over on holiday, and I went and met him, and he bought me some Marmite.
Okay.
And I prefer your Marmite to our Marmite.
Oh, it's nice, isn't it? I remember a few years ago they had a Marmite shortage, and all we had was that stupid Australian Vegemite. And
Oh, well,
I haven't
actually,
tried that.
since Jut has just mentioned it, I'm going to put a shout out because this stream is going to be live until 11:30, plus or minus a few minutes, depending on when the Shill Show starts, the Silly Shill Show. And I don't know if everyone watching tonight has come across them, but the team will consist of a number of the following people: AB Science, Jim Bojo, Logical Troglodyte, Anti-Flatter, who Jut's just mentioned, Sarcastic Barman, who we've got in the side chat there, Jut Monk, Babes Troglodyte, Dead Kennedy in Space, Canadian Thomas, Dick Dawson, who's World Model Feud, and Kiri Mack, who may or may not also be jumping in here tonight. So when we reach the end of this stream, I would highly recommend, and I will drop a link, highly recommend everyone to hop on over and carry on the fun on the Silly Shill Show. And Jut, do you want to tell us who you've got on as a guest tonight?
Yeah, tonight we've got Uni Rock and Conspiracy Cats.
Yay for the cat man.
Yeah, man, and I am going to roast him tonight. He's going to get a right good telling off because I'm a monkey and he goes around pretending to be a cat. But I've seen his videos. He ain't no cat. So he's going to get roasted for it. And trust me, when I roast someone, there's a few F words thrown in there amongst other things. I'm a monkey. I can do what I want, you know.
You certainly can, mate.
But
So-
yeah, it's going to be good fun. I'm not sure what shills we got on, but yeah, it's just general chit chat. We get a couple of videos up and we debunk them live with the guests. We chat to the guests, chat about what they do. And but like at the moment, we've been going on to debunking ancient aliens because that's a load of rubbish. So we keep getting copyright strikes from the History Channel, but yeah, we always seem to pull it off, and it's fair use, so nothing happens. Blinder.
Craig,
Yes.
the thing you were saying about an eclipse with both the sun and the moon above the horizon, do you have any sort of link or any information at all about that?
Oh, I was watching, seen it the other day. My memory's really bad, but I'm going to find it.
Okay.
It's a rare lunar eclipse, and I will find it.
Okay, well, in your own time, there's no rush, because that'd be interesting. Because if that's the case, then I guess a lot of us here will have either learnt something or will have something to puzzle over to try and debunk. I've not heard of it.
The ancients say because the moon and the sun follow the same path, and apparently there's a third body in the sky, or whatever you want to call it, like the sun and the moon that is there too.
Talking about the shadow moon, is that the one you're talking about?
I think it's the black. Oh, the third.
Planet X.
No. Let me find out, so I'm not just guessing. I'll have a look.
That's cool. That's fair enough. Well, while you're looking, Chris, what have you been up to?
Oh, not a whole lot. Just trying to keep my head above water at work, and we're getting a whole bunch of somebody named the museum here in a will. So we have a bunch of guys picking up some equipment. We're just waiting for that to show up to offload it and bring it into the back and catalog it and stuff.
So you've just been busy with work, have you?
Yeah, that and the museum. I mean, those seem to be the two things that take up my time a lot. You know, one's a paying job. One is I do for fun. So
okay. I've just noticed Stuck in Florida said a Selenian eclipse. I've not heard of that before. I presume, Stuck, you're saying that is the possibility. I don't know about the geometry. Did you hear that, Craig?
Yeah, I was just Rahu, the black sun, is what.
Well, someone also said, is it Lilith, the shadow moon?
Okay, so I just got caught up looking about you when you asked me about the stars rotating at the.
Okay, that's fine.
We came across something like that. Okay.
Isn't that always the thing with YouTube? You're looking for one thing, and then all of a sudden you see something. Oh, that looks interesting, and start clicking on that, go down that rabbit hole, and you totally forget what you were originally looking for.
Oh man, you would not believe the rabbit hole I ended up down 2 days ago. I was looking at Flat Earth, and then perhaps looking at NASA lies, and following like you do. And I ended up on this channel. I thought, what the hell is this? It was, let me think, ABDL. Has anyone heard of ABDL?
Nah.
No?
Adult baby diaper lover?
You got it. Adult baby diaper lovers. So it's grown men and women who wear diapers and love using them. Oh my goodness. That was a whole, I did not want to go down.
Oh, there's all sorts
no
of
amount of
weirdness out
bleach
there,
will
mate.
get that out of your head.
I know. By the way, Craig.
Yes.
The Stuck in Florida, who said it was called Selenian eclipse. It's caused by looming, apparently. I know nothing about it, so I can't defend it, however, but I know that looming is all to do with atmospherics, like mirages and stuff like that. It's a type of mirage, I know that. And I presume it's either lifting the sun or the moon above the horizon, or it'd be something like that. But it's Selenian, so it's Selenion. So that's something for us all to look up, I guess. That's a new one on me.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
I've learned so much doing this. It's unreal. Like getting involved in this community and doing videos and just watching videos.
I thought you were going to say you learnt to wash your hands after you rolled one up and thrown it, mate.
No, man. Never do that. It's still under my nails now.
Oh, no.
Yeah, man. I'll pick that out later and roll it out and flick it at the wall.
Sorry, where were we, Craig? I think you were saying something.
Oh, I was just reading about what you're just saying that I haven't heard. I haven't said. What did you say? It was something.
Let's see. It's in the chat.
Super looming.
Yeah, so I'll spell it for you. It's SELEN.
Oh.
Tell me when you're ready.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, SELENE, Selene, the moon, and then LION on the end of it. Selene Lion eclipse.
I can't explain it.
No,
I'm just saying, like they just proved the Earth's not in the middle, so like that just throws into question what a lunar eclipse is.
Hey,
and
Craig.
I can understand that, but then,
Yeah.
like Jut asked you earlier, if you've got the Earth as a flat plane with both the sun and the moon above, then the Earth could never get in the middle. So how would you have any eclipse?
That's right. So it's because it's not the Earth's shadow, like. So it's something, whatever it is when we see it now with the sun and the moon above. That's what it will be every time, even when the moon isn't, the sun isn't there or the moon isn't there. It'll be the same, I would imagine. And I've heard of like there's a third thing in the sky as well, and I don't know what that is, but like that's the same as the sun and the moon, but.
Craig, are you on your phone or on your PC?
I'm on a laptop. So.
Okay, so have you got the stream in front of you so you can see the video?
No. Do I need to? Can I pull that up? Can I?
Yeah.
Craig, can I ask you a question?
Sorry, just 1 second, Craig. I'll drop you a message right now with the link so you can open it up. Okay. Or in fact, can you see the lounge?
I'm here. I'm just on YouTube now, so.
Oh right, yes. So if you search for that, and I
think we're a bit behind on the stream.
Yeah, the stream's always delayed.
I'm here now. I can see you. I can see you. Okay,
cool. You go on. I'll set up for this video that someone's found me.
Yeah, I was going to say, what do you? Have you obviously watched the boat go over the curve? What do you make of that? Or better still, have you been on a boat and watched the land disappear over the horizon?
I haven't seen anything disappear over the horizon, but I've seen things get out of my perspective, my vision, like where I can't see it anymore.
But if you haven't seen it, it's hard to explain. But if you ever go on a boat, I don't know if you have binoculars, but ideally you want binoculars. And as the boat gets further away from the land disappears over the curve, so it disappears from the bottom up, and then eventually it's gone. Now, if the Earth was flat, that you surely would just keep seeing it get smaller, wouldn't you? You wouldn't see it just disappear from the bottom up. Like, you can see the beach, and then you can't see the beach anymore. Then you can't see the houses. It just.
Yep.
What's the explanation for that? Flat Earth.
Okay, I can't give you an accurate thing, but like I know that if things seem to be going around the curve of the horizon, it disappeared. If you go and get a telescope or a powerful zoom camera, you can bring it right back into view.
However, the full object is not in view. I mean, you might be able to bring it back, but you're not going to see where it was. Let's say at the waterline mark, red part of the boat is above the waterline, and then you bring it back in after it goes over the curve. You don't see that red part of the boat anymore. So that's behind the curve.
Is it? But so you're saying then that the mast of the boat, let's say it's a yacht or whatever, should therefore start to tilt away from us.
Actually,
it does. But it's such a
minute amount.
You're looking right on it.
I'm just guessing that, like I said, it's a guess. Like I'm just saying there's things we can see that mathematically, what they say with the curvature should be so well around the curve of the Earth that we shouldn't see it, and yet we do.
No,
what-
no. If there's something
No.
Sorry,
that's impossible
sorry,
to
Chuck.
see,
Chuck,
There's many instances of that. Many.
Chuck and Chris, hold on a second. I've just mentioned in the chat, please bear in mind that Craig has not had a chance and was not expecting to debate. I'm sure he's okay chatting, but this is all off the cuff for all of us. So, if we're having a debate, he'll have a fair chance.
Oh yeah,
to compare.
no, it won't. It won't. I just get
But you've got a fair point. You've definitely got a fair
trying
point.
to find out what you can answer, if you know what I mean. And to understand why you think it's flat. I mean, that would be for me.
Mainly because of the deception, the lies, things that don't add up. The water's level, like there's just basic simple things. The fact of the tests, I can't remember exactly what it is. The one where they can shoot, a cannonball or whatever straight up and then to the east and to the west, and like just the Earth rotating at 1,000 miles per hour. That's pretty quick at the equator. And so if I flew from the equator to the North Pole, where it would be significantly less turn, it should be noticeable.
But shall I tell you how you can notice that? If you're at the equator and the sun sets, it sets quicker and it gets darker quicker. The farther north or south you go from the equator, that is slower, and that is what's consistent with the globe.
Oh, absolutely. No, it's consistent with the flat Earth. Like, so the sun, so your summertime, you're in the northern hemisphere, so the sun is, what is it? We've got the Tropic of Capricorn. I haven't even got a map here. So
Tropic of Cancer is the north one.
Okay, so when the sun, in your summertime anyway, the sun still takes 24 hours to do a circuit. It's 24 hours in a day.
Yep.
So, but it's traveling a lot slower. So you have a lot more daylight in your longest day of the year, in your peak of your summertime, to the peak in New Zealand summertime, being on the outer. The sun's traveling a lot faster in the summertime down here because it's got to travel a further a greater distance.
Craig, I would say if the Earth was a flat disk, yes, it would have to, which is one of the evidences against a flat disk, because it doesn't. It always moves at exactly the same speed across the sky.
No, I disagree. Like, how is that? That's not correct, because
how is it that it changes speed?
Your summertime, I think the longest day is about 16 hours of light or something like that. It's a good 1 hour, 1.5 hours, and your guys' twilight at night. You have quite a lot of twilight. When it starts getting like our twilight here, it's boom, it's dark all of a sudden.
I used to live in Norway, and in the summer it didn't get dark. It'd start getting dark, because I didn't live right up north, but it'd start getting dark, and then it would get light again.
So, Craig,
there's 24-hour sun in the North Pole, like that's not
Craig, what's your latitude?
Latitude. I can't tell.
Because what I was saying, okay,
New Zealand latitude.
I mean, I'm not sure. I think London is about 52 degrees or something like that. So
I'm
the length
40.9 degrees south, 174 east.
So you're closer to the equator than that's right, isn't it? Yes, closer to the equator than London is, for instance. So your maximum length day for your summer will be different than the maximum length day in London for summer. Do you see what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah, but if you put it into actual perspective of, so just work off the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn, then you will find that it travels faster. And you just put your foot in your mouth a little bit then by saying the sun travels at the same speed, but I thought the sun doesn't travel.
Well, no, the sun doesn't travel. It's us rotating, which is why for a globe, it absolutely would have to apparently cross the the sky at exactly the same rate. Never mind the length of day, but in 1 hour it will have crossed the exact same amount of sky anywhere in the world. If not, the Earth is not a globe. So, in fact, if you could prove that, you
That's
win.
one thing that I'm looking at doing is
fair
being
enough.
able to measure the speed. But like I said, that's very difficult to do because it's got to be to find a spot that's of equal distance away from the sun on either side of the equator, for starters.
Well, the Tropic of Capricorn or the Tropic of Cancer would do, wouldn't it?
Well, I guess so, yeah. And then exactly half a year apart from each other, I guess, is what we'd have to do.
Yeah. Yes, it would.
Hey, Craig.
I just got. Go ahead.
But you can measure that, like I said, easily by the amount of daylight in the day. And it's something I haven't looked into it, but I just dawned on me that probably something looking into.
Craig, so would you be willing to learn to understand the globe, or you just?
Well, we're taught the globe, aren't we?
No, I mean, I'm
understand it.
To understand
the model, how it works.
Yeah, so that you can see it for what it is.
Am I willing to understand it? Absolutely. If you want to explain it to me, or
well, I mean, I don't want to
not
now.
Right now, but
I'm
open. Like I said to Mr. Sensible at the start, I'm open.
Yep, he did say that.
Having my beliefs challenged, and if there's suffice evidence, hey, we don't get it right. We're humans.
So maybe we could do a weekly show where we spend half an hour educating you.
Oi! Don't you pinch my guest.
Hey.
No, on here.
Okay.
As long as that gives me half an hour to.
I wasn't going to take him on a shield.
Turn a few of you globies over to us, to the cause.
That would only be fair. That would only be fair. And can I say right now, Craig, kudos to you for coming on here, having the trust to come in and chat. I'm really impressed, and I want to thank you.
Oh no, that's cool. No problem. Like I said, it's a good thing, and I think it's hard for genuine flat earthers that should be even given airtime. Like no media do it; they just give these controlled opposition airtime because they make us look so stupid.
Just out of curiosity, would you call flat out controlled opposition or just a poll?
Just a what? Poll.
A Poe.
A Poe.
One of your fake.
I'm a Kiwi. I don't know what a Poe is. A twat. A controlled opposition like Flat Earth Society. Mark Sargent, top of that list. Yep, most definitely.
Who's the one you hate?
He's one that I hate. I don't hate anybody.
No, I mean hate like yeah, but like for me, I don't really hate anybody. But like as what he does, Nathan.
Well, he's a sellout. He's sold out the truth for materialistic things, just like Joe Rogan. He's another one. It's quite sad.
I don't know that one.
No, I've not heard of him.
Joe Rogan. So he's the most.
I've heard the name.
Biggest podcast on the internet. He was Fear Factor. If you remember that program, Fear Factor.
No, he was also Joe, the engineer on News Radio, which was
he's a commentator for the MMA, and stuff like that. But he has his best friend Eddie Bravo. He's another flat earther.
It sounds like there's quite a separate community over
but
there.
A lot of these guys sell out, for money, whatever. I don't know. They get threatened, their family. I'm not too sure, but it's very noticeable. Especially with Joe Rogan, how he questions everything, and then all of a sudden, it backtracks on everything. For what reason, we don't know, but it's definitely been noticeable.
Hey, Craig.
So I was
going to say, I've realised why there were problems with your sound earlier. Craig?
Yeah.
The problems with your sound is because I forgot to switch in the converter to turn your signal the right way up because we're in the Northern Hemisphere here, mate.
Hey, so you're telling me, you're talking about that that Japanese satellite.
Oh, the Himawari satellite. Yes.
Yeah. So how good is this? Can it zoom in? Like, can it
Well,
see people
well-
standing? Like, can you see
No,
me,
no,
like
no.
upside down or
No.
what?
I tell you what, Craig. If you want to see good videos about the Himawari 8, you should go to an Aussie guy called Wade's Underworld. He proves the globe. He gets photos, images from Himawari 8, and then takes photographs from his backyard and compares the cloud cover.
Yeah, so I've heard of this. I'm going to look into that because I know there's been plenty of instances with the ISS,
Yep.
where that's full of shit, like we're fake.
Well, what I'd say,
And,
what I'd
but
say
it isn't, mate.
the thing is, Craig, a lot of it is down to scale. If you said, well, the ISS, the distance above the surface of the Earth is only a couple 100 miles, I think, which is nothing on the scale of it. So they cannot see the whole globe. They can see a portion of it, whereas the Himawari 8 the orbit is so big, it's so far from the surface of the Earth that can actually capture the entire Earth in one image, which is why you're able to have totally non-stitched imagery. So there's zero computer interference that anyone could say is CGI.
well,
I'm going to butt in for a
I'm
second.
Sure, I'm sure we'll find something. Will come out that it's not. But like, just a lot of stuff buzzes me out. Even the symbolisms and everything. You know what I mean? Like,
Can I
Craig?
butt in quickly?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, because I'm going to have to leave and go and prepare for the shills.
42 minutes, mate. 42 minutes.
Huh?
42 minutes you got.
Yeah, I know, but I've got.
No, I mean, you
got
better hurry.
stuff to do.
You better
Yeah,
hurry.
I'm cool. But I just want to say, ugly German, stuck in Florida, Dark Knight, curvy New Yorker, oi oi, I like a bit of curve. Barman, Uni Rach, The Snark, Surf, Hornets, Wade, Gary G, Pip, Cliff, Toos, Mr. Blacker, Hornets, and anyone else I missed. Rock and roll. See you on the shills. Thanks for having me on, dude.
Yeah, you take care,
Great,
Chuck.
nice. And the other dude, who's not said much, I
Chris.
can't remember your name.
Chris.
Chris.
Have a
Sorry,
good day,
man.
Judd.
Huh?
Have a good day.
See you later, guys.
See ya.
oi oi.
Oi. Oi.
Now that's an interesting. Is that
Fucking oi. Sorry.
is that a New Zealand thing, Craig?
What?
Oi oi.
Oh, what? Skinheads. Like Romper Stomper. Was a good movie. Growing up.
No, not me. I don't know it. It's just that Planner Walk. I don't know if you've seen his channel. He's from New Zealand. He says that.
Okay.
Or ahoy,
Oh, he says
ahoy,
ahoy, hoy.
ahoy, hoy. Yes.
Yes. Which is what Alexander Graham proposed to be the proper greeting on the telephone is ahoy.
Ahoy.
instead of hello.
Hoi hoi. Yeah.
Yeah. Wondered where it
No,
came
we're
from.
just. Yeah. I don't know.
Nautical.
They came
Perhaps.
from the oi oi. Well, that's English. Just like
Yeah.
definitely. But you guys have got some weird slang over there.
Oh yeah, like what?
Oh, every
Oh, what
region
do you-
has its own weird slang.
What's that? Geordie Shore or whatever. Like he's fit. Like, or she's fit. I'm like, what? So they
Goodness
get up
sake, I'm
and
still in
go
here.
for a
I
run
can't
every
get
morning.
out.
And
Yeah, so I kick you out, John. Shall I just ban you from the server?
I just cut it off and then it's just come back on. I'm like, what the?
What the
I'm nearly
goodness?
swearing my head off here, but I didn't. And yeah, I heard you talking about oi oi. Oi oi is something I've said for years, like since I was in my teens, man. Oi oi.
yeah,
Since I was
have
a
you got some?
raver.
You got some Doc Martens with some white laces and whatnot?
Nah, man, I was a raver. Yeah. Whistle, man. Whistle, posse, blow. Woo, woo, boom, boom.
Chuck,
On the podium, raving hard. Anyway, I'm out of here.
Chuck,
Yo.
Chuck.
Yo.
Come on, before you go, you've got to give a quick treat to everyone. One verse, two verses. Come on, man.
All right, then.
Come on. I'd like everyone to just have a good listen to this. Chuck Monk, the
They're
drunk
smelly
monkey.
and they're stupid. Their arguments convoluted. Their brains have gone all putrid. The Flatheart family.
Da-da-da-dun, Da-da-da-dun. 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 Da-da-da-dun.
The birth was accidental. The cousins are parental. The intelligence of a lentil. The fluff of family.
Da-da-da-dun. 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 Good man, Chuck. Thank you. We'll see you on the shelves, pal.
Catch you on the flip side.
I better give you a bit of an explanation about that, Craig.
I think I saw that. Did you post that a
That
couple
video.
weeks ago or what?
No,
Yeah.
I think it was last night or the day before. I posted a video.
Yeah, it may have been. I remember seeing that come up there, and I was just.
It's a video on my channel. You can see, Craig. It's an American family called the Flat Earth Family, and they did a couple of songs, and then in my comment section, people wrote a whole load more anti-flat verses to add on to it. Please excuse me 1 second, guys. I just got to let the cat out. If you carry on for a tick.
Sure. Chris, is it?
Were you guys addressing me? Sorry, I had a bunch of noise in the background.
All right.
Back
So that was quick.
Yeah. I'm a man built for speed.
Well, you got to look after the pussies, eh?
Yeah. And also, of course, because we're in the northern hemisphere, I don't have to worry about falling off.
What are you going to fall off? Yeah, speaking of that, like, so we get to Antarctica now. Antarctica is a really, really interesting topic. Like, I wish I could just like have a plane,
Big continent covered in ice. Yeah.
go everywhere, like to check this stuff out. But you can't go. This treaty about Antarctica.
Have you read it, Craig?
I haven't read it.
Yeah, it's actually not too long.
No, I know. I heard it isn't too long, but I watched a video of a guy who said, well, because he's sick of the globies going, well, go take a picture of the edge of the earth then, or like, the dome, the edge of the dome. Well, and he just wanted to prove, well, we can't, because we can't go there. Like, it's not that easy. And the process to actually undertake to go to Antarctica with your own agenda, an independent sort of exploration, is virtually impossible. It's not going to happen.
Well, the thing is, you can go, and of course, you can
you can
go on holidays or tourist things, but they're very, very expensive. The reason being that, for instance, if you wanted to go there, then the Australian government is responsible for you and has to cover the cost of any rescue, which is one hell of a lot of money.
Or New Zealand as well. I'm New Zealand.
Sorry, New Zealand. Yeah, beg your pardon. I didn't mean to insult you.
I think there's a few countries who have got a laid claim stake there. Yeah, New Zealand, Australia, America, United States. But I mean, Admiral Byrd, like that was interesting when he, all those years ago, came out and said that he'd discovered land. I came across something probably about a week or two ago, and it was a map, an ancient map that was 1,000 years old.
Oh, right.
Or it had been like kept locked up for 1,000 years. It was found in Japan, and it's older than like Captain. Captain Cook's. They did all the the mapping of the world and whatnot. Now this map's really accurate, and it just goes out. It's a flat earth, and it goes out further, and it's got other land masses out past Antarctica, and then it's quite interesting considering the age of it. And when Admiral Byrd obviously came back and said there's land, as big as the United States that's never been seen by human eyes. Like,
well, he's right. There was an awful lot of land there. And
then all of a sudden, it's all treaty, can't go there at all for anything. Nobody. There's something there they don't want us to know. Like,
well, what it is they want to protect a pristine environment, have no one gain a military advantage or exploit it for the minerals and so on. So the treaty basically says the countries. Well, that's what the treaty says, that it's
Yeah,
for
I know
scientific
that.
use, and you've got to be open to inspections from the other treaty members, I think. And it's only, it's not even, people seem to think it's every country signed that treaty. It's not the case. It's very
It's something
few.
like 50,
Something like 50,
countries or something.
52, yeah, something of that order. That's right.
Yeah.
But
But
you
like,
can go-
you know, at its military, like you will be met with, if you try to just go there, you know, they patrol. For me, it's a large area to patrol, being right it's right
It
around
would
the.
be very large. Imagine, I mean, you think in the US, they can't keep that southern border tight. And that's well, that's with obviously all their patrols, however much of it's got a wall or a fence, and they can't keep that. So how would you keep a whole continent? Admittedly, that you haven't got as many people trying to go there, but you've still got that distance to patrol. And if it was if it was a circular Earth, it's not even the exterior or the boundary of the globe Earth continent of Antarctica. It's a wall around the whole flipping world.
Yes.
You need rather a lot of people.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, I mean, just to get there is a logistics headache because, I mean, there is no civilization, there is no infrastructure, there is nothing there except for what you bring in. Now, there's some shelters and stuff like that have been set up, but I mean, there isn't. If you don't bring in the gas for the generators, you're not going to have any generators. You're not going to have any heat. You're not going to be able to survive. So I mean, anything that you are going to need to live and move around, you have to bring in yourself. And so, I mean, just trying to get there is a tough ordeal. We had a radio de-expedition. That's where a bunch of ham radio operators will go to remote locations and operate for 2 weeks or so. And other ham radio operators will try to communicate, try to make contact with them. And it's a sense of pride and excitement being able to do that. And that's why it's done. They were going to do an expedition, de-expedition out to Antarctica. They got 3/4 of the way and their boat motor quit on them. So they had to get towed back to the closest mainland. And now they're just getting enough funding to go back again. And they'll try again. But I mean, just getting there is a pain in the butt.
Well, probably easier for me than you, but like.
Well, that's true.
Still a pain in the ass.
And of course, apart from the odd McDonald's, there's nothing there. So I mean, you know, as Chris was just saying, you've got to take all your supplies, all your fuel. You've got to transport yourself. If your transport breaks down, or you run out of food, or anything like that, or anything major medical emergency, you've had it.
Yeah. And like getting to the North Pole, again, like the North Pole, another restricted place that you can't just go.
Well, there is no.
You might be able to go
Pole.
to somewhere where they say is the North Pole, but the actual North Pole is very significant. All compasses point towards the North Pole.
Well, they point to magnetic north, not
come past is what it says. So come past north is what compass is.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Well, just the word compass, come past north. So everything's pointing towards north. Yeah, because it's the magnetic force here. That's right. But there's in old maps you can see in a lot of the ancients cultures know about this. They talk about but there's 4 continents, 4 rivers running out of the center of the earth, and like I know there's a group that I came across that planned the Blood Brothers of something, and
I keep hearing
and
ancients and stuff like that, but who are these ancients?
Because I'm just randomly chatting off the cuff. I can pull up
Well,
who I'm talking
well,
about. And it explains it.
Craig, well, just while you're looking at that, I just need to read out a super chat. And so, of course, well, you should listen to this. It's from Mr. John Rapp. He's just sent 10 Australian dollars. Mr. Sensible meets a flirt that is Mr. Reasonable, in manner at least. Not being offensive, but Craig is misinformed, misunderstands, and gullible. Stay with us. We can help get your gyroscope aligned. Okay, so
Awesome.
John Rapp, thanks for the super chat. And
I can understand how I could come across like this.
Well, totally reasonable. You are a totally reasonable person. You're a nice guy, and it's been a pleasure having you on here. It really has. And I don't know how much of a watch you'd be able to keep on the chat. People are varying in their comments about your thoughts and beliefs, but hopefully you think we're giving you a fair crack.
Oh, absolutely. I'm just I'm not offended or
Good.
scared off or anything or intimidated or anything like. They breed them tough down here. We obviously we had to lose the Cricket World Cup to you guys when we should have won, really, but anyway.
Having a conversation is always a good thing.
It's nice.
And following what the server is called, discourse. Hey, we're having a nice little discourse.
Well, one of the biggest things for me is this whole thing, like materialism. It bothers me. The amount of suicides over people over money and stuff, and that's how I see the world. The world's all part of it's a materialistic world, and it's not how it should be. And so, talking about anything, encouraging to not just go along with the status quo, because if you stand up, speak, everyone should have the right to say how they feel. And
absolutely. Hey, Craig, have you ever heard of cricket as explained to a foreigner?
As explained
to a foreigner, because we've got a load of US viewers here, so and they probably don't get cricket. So let me just read this. You will understand this, Craig. They may not.
Yeah.
Here we go. Cricket. You have two sides, one out in the field and one in. Each man that's in the side that's in goes out, and when he's out, he comes in, and the next man goes in until he's out. When they're all out, the side that's out comes in, and the side that's been in goes out and try to get those coming in out. Sometimes you get men still in and not out. When a man goes out to go in, the men who are out try to get him out, and when he is out, he goes in, and the next man in goes out and goes in. There are two men called umpires who stay all out all the time, and they decide when the men who are in are out. When both sides have been in and all the men have been out, and both sides have been out twice after all the men have been in, including those who are not out, that is the end of the game. I think you'll agree with that, wouldn't you, Craig?
That's amazing. The English language is real funny.
Yeah,
I've read another thing sort of similar, how alarm clock goes off by going on and stuff like that. How does a house burn up while it burns down? So.
That's true.
How is a pineapple's neither a pine nor an apple? French fries aren't from France.
I've had a lot of people confused on when I tell them, okay, I need you to shut down the computer by clicking on start.
Oh, yeah.
The biggest word actually with the most meanings is up, believe it or not. I can't pull up what it's about, but there was this, it had me in hysterics, this whole big story with up in it, and it's in so many different contexts, it's ridiculous. But yeah,
what really kind of opened my mind on up, down, and the relativeness of it is the book by Orson Scott Card called Ender's Game, where
I've seen the film.
Well, yeah, the film is filled in as a load of crap. The book is a lot better. But anyhow, the whole idea with the war games is how do you fight in 0G, where you don't have any reference to up, down, left, right, whatever. And so what Ender ended up doing was defining what down was, which happened to be the enemy's gate, the enemy's side, the goal for where they're supposed to go. And once he did that, he was able to orientate himself and be able to be very effective in fight and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, that's quite interesting. So, Craig, I guess from what you were saying earlier, you don't accept satellites, ISS. Do you accept space at all?
No,
So, what do you
not
think?
as we know it. Not as we know it.
So, do you think there
no.
is well, I think you said actually a dome or something. Is that right?
Yes, like I can't be absolutely sure, but I just know we're not spinning on a globe, and that we're on an infinite flat plane as far as I can see. So I don't know if there's an edge. I mean, like, a dome where the dome actually meets the Earth somewhere, or if it's just infinite. Like, you got to understand, like, our brains, like, it's hard to really. We've been indoctrined so much, like.
What is indoctrination? I mean,
It's been given
you say,
beliefs like, that we take as fact that really it's never been proven to us. It's manipulation of the biggest kind. Like, the ultimate manipulation is of children that don't know, and that's easily done.
or
Like,
given the tools to find out for yourself.
yeah, but if you don't know any different, then you don't even know to go and look.
Craig, have you ever
Yes.
seen what is supposedly? Have you ever seen the ISS pass over?
No, but I actually seen that you can, like, check. That gives you a time wherever you are in the world. It'll
Sorry.
give you a bit of a window, and you can look up and
Absolutely.
apparently see it.
Yeah,
And I haven't done that,
Yeah, you
but I know people that actually have.
Yeah, I have.
And
yeah,
the answers to that is they also have concerts with Michael Jackson and Tupac and some Chinese girl as well, Japanese girl. Holograms are very good. Like, we don't actually know what technology they actually possess, how great it is. There'd be so much that we don't
Who's
actually
they?
know.
Well, actually, sorry, if I can just carry on with this a minute, Chris. I mean, the website I've used is one called Heavens Above. I think it's .org. I'm not sure, but Heavens-Above, I think it is. And yeah, you put in your location, and for lots of satellites, but some are less impressive, including the ISS. It will tell you the direction and is it? I mean, I'm into astronomy a bit, but is it the azimuth? How far above the horizon it's going to appear, and how long it will be in view. And it was exactly that. So I've heard flat earthers say things about stratolites and balloons and stuff like that, and I don't understand how that could be, because of course they'd be blown left, right and centre, and you certainly couldn't predict that. If it was some technology, I guess you could predict exactly where it's going to appear, but what would be the point? Because how many people went out that night when I looked at it, to look for it? Probably very few. And what would it be hologramming on? Projected on.
Who knows? Well, who knows? How do these holograms appear? Like I said, they have concerts with Michael, Tupac, and holograms that appear to be there. I don't know what they're reflected on. They're just reflected there. But if you had $54 million a day, or whatever it is that NASA gets,
yeah,
you've got the resources to really do anything. So,
but why would they?
For people like who are to satisfy, to prove to people that space is real and stuff like that, to keep the lie going. Like,
but going deeper. I mean,
why would they lie about? They lie, and when I talk about they, Chris, I'm talking really about the United States government and the Freemasons and genders and all that.
Freemasons, really? I mean,
yeah.
Well,
yeah.
So
33rd degree.
So Craig, just sort of following this hologram thing. If you went to some island, I can't think, Kiribati or somewhere, so some little Pacific island in the middle of nowhere, you could watch the ISS go over. So where would the projection, or where, I don't understand how and why that would be projected so that you could see it in a place like Kiribati.
I have no idea. This is just something I read. Like, it could be that. I don't know. It could be a high orbit plane. They've got those planes that fly quite high and whatnot.
Although the speed is quite phenomenal. It would. I tell you what. Please have.
How does it get up to that speed? How does it? How does something like that, if it's orbiting around the Earth? Where's all the space junk? Why aren't satellites smashing into each other? There's supposed to be thousands out there.
There is.
Why can we never see other satellites and like? There's nothing when you see.
Well, Craig, I've heard people sort of say, why can't they photo another satellite from a satellite and things like that? Do you think of the scale in the Pacific Ocean? Imagine you're in the middle of the Pacific Ocean and there's, let's say, 500 cars floating across the Pacific Ocean. The chance of one being able to see another is virtually nil. It's vast. And of course,
but
if you're a couple of... Well, you do. You can see satellites most nights. Look, I'll tell you what, please, as a favour, have a look at one of these tracking websites. I mean, ideally the ISS, but there's other websites, and actually get the predicted time. Go out and have a look. I think you'll be quite astonished. I really do.
I've seen a couple of videos that your guys posted on one of the lounge earlier about this SpaceX train of satellites. The first one I looked at looked quite like it just looked like it'd been added on, but like the second one, the blue sky, like I got my mate, I sent it to my mate. I said, have a look at this. What do you reckon of this? And like it was saying that it's a train, but over time they will spread out further and further. We almost won't even be able to see them. And I thought that was quite strange, because if they're traveling around as a train now in orbit at a certain speed, well, how all of a sudden is some going to get faster or some get slower? Like, what's with that? If it's in orbit, it should just stay the same constant speed.
Well, unless they're low enough that drag took effect. But I can only... I don't know about that. I've heard about this, that sort of, in effect, train of satellites. But if they're all given a slightly different... were they all launched on the same thing?
Oh, I have no idea. I'd just seen it in the lounge when I first came onto this Discord place, and I was just checking out what some people were posting.
Because, I mean, if each one was given a slightly different push from the launch vehicle, then I guess over time they would get further and further apart. But I don't know about it either, so perhaps we better go somewhere else. If neither of us know, we're both talking crap.
But I mean, if satellites exist, then why is, I think it's 90% of the world's communication is ground-based communication. GPS is still triangulated.
Triangulated.
But triangulated with satellites.
No, it's not. How can it? Like, how can if there were satellites, I would get reception everywhere I be. I can't get reception like in places.
You get the satellite radio is radio signals are line of sight, especially in the VHF and UHF, are line of sight. So as the satellite comes over the horizon, it will become visible to you. As it goes over the other horizon, it does not become visible as far as radio is concerned. As I was going to say a little bit earlier, as a ham radio operator, I have had conversations with the International Space Station, with the astronauts on the space station.
Wow.
Okay. They have a ham radio up there. They have a lot of the astronauts are ham radio operators. And if they're not on duty, they'll talk on the ham radio. And that has probably close to about, I would say, 1,500 mile footprint. When I was using my computer to store forward messages up over the packet network, which is using RF, not any land-based or anything like that, bounce them up to the International Space Station and back. I was getting contacts from Georgia, and I live in Connecticut. So I was getting contacts from Georgia, and I mean, and that's because it just has that big of a radio footprint.
I know that with
I
one of
just want to jump in there because I'm reading some comments now that come out. Earthrise, how do you triangulate from the ground in the middle of the Pacific? Well, if you actually track aeroplanes' GPS in the southern hemisphere, you will notice that they disappear. They're not even on GPS over the water in southern hemisphere.
So how do they find their way? Because what I was going to say was, I know that with my sat-nav, or at least the previous version of my sat-nav, there was a screen where you could actually see how, I mean, obviously it was only diagrammatic, but it was showing you, oh, you got 3 or 4 satellites in line of sight. Now it's down to 3, now it's up to 5. You could see the satellites coming into, quote, view and going out of, quote, view. And that's what it's triangulating from. Hello? We lost him again.
Yeah.
Oh, you're back.
Yeah. So satellites, satellites. Once again, there's no proof. It's a money stealing of scheme, really. Like, it's just ridiculous to think that this.
Look up the organization AMSAT. Okay,
Who?
that stands for Amateur Satellite.
Amateur Satellite.
Yeah, and that again, it's dealing with ham radio. We launched Oscar way back in '69, I want to say. And that orbited the Earth, just transmitting in Morse code high. Did it, and people around the world, ham radio operators, didn't have to be ham radio operator because not transmitting, but I mean, ham radio operators would log the time and date that they had it, their location. They sent it into AMSAT, and it was like, okay, this thing is a viable way of communicating, and then it went on from there. Now we have AOS and let's see what we call the fun cubes, which are just like 6 inch by 6 inch by 6 inch cubes that are launched in low orbit.
Yes, totally. Sort of micro satellites.
Yeah.
So,
and then they burn up in the atmosphere after a certain amount of time, and then we launch another set.
Well, Craig.
Okay, so
leaving aside all these lesser satellites, please, if you're honest to yourself, I would say have a look at this tracking website and have a look at the ISS. Would you do that?
I will.
Cool,
I can, but there's certain facts too, but with satellites, melting points of metals used in satellites, are far lower than even the temperature in the thermosphere.
Yeah, but it's a high temperature, but there's not that much. If I got this the right way,
Can I ask you guys a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So where do you stand on the moon landing?
I absolutely accept the moon landing.
You believe?
I know it happened.
Absolutely,
it happened. We have proof that we've been up there. We have the
mirrors,
reflectors. Yeah, we have the reflectors that you can. And
okay, so what do you make of plenty of NASA's people have come out saying that low Earth orbit is as far as they can go, and actually the fact that Neil Armstrong wouldn't swear on the Bible
with the rockets that we're currently using. Those rockets were designed. Hold on. Those rockets that we're currently using were designed for low Earth orbit. For to get something to get an escape velocity outside of Earth orbit, you're going to need something like the Saturn V. We don't make the Saturn V anymore
because we no longer got the moon program. So they, why continue it? And if they had kept it all, it would have all been 1960s, early 70s tech. So, I mean, we can do it. It's just expensive. And they're sort of redoing it from scratch, in effect, using new technology, new knowledge.
But why, if in the 60s they had the technology to go? Then I heard the astronauts say, we used to have the technology to do this, but we destroyed it, and it will be a painful process to bring it back.
Well, yeah.
Now,
Here's a nice example for you, Craig. Think of a car like a 57 Chevy. Okay, it's getting a bit older. 57 Chevy, which people think is a dream car. You can't make one now because they've no longer got the tooling, the factory lines, and so on. You could rebuild everything and make a 57 Chevy, but it'd be bloody expensive. And what would be the point when you can make, I don't know, some modern sports car? It's an equivalent sort of thing.
It's not. We're talking about
It's
the moon,
fishing,
the greatest achievement of mankind.
It's fitting the mission. The mission was to get to the moon and back. We did that. Now our mission after that was basically within the Earth orbit, because that's what was affordable. Now we're talking about interstellar and interplanetary missions again. So now we have to come up with missions with materials and methods that are going to fit with what we have available. Okay, we don't have the resources that we have monetarily or raw materials or whatever that we had.
$54 million a day. NASA pulls in, and the space industry is worth more than the movie, music, and video gaming combined. It's worth double. So,
but it's a fraction of the entire budget.
Have you seen the moon landing?
And NASA is
guys, I'm going to ask you just to calm it a little, okay? But it's fine. I can understand. It's really interesting, but just step back a sec and then carry on respectfully, please.
I mean, a landline telephone call from the president to the people on the moon. How ridiculous is that?
Why is that ridiculous? What do you mean by a landline telephone call?
Have you not seen them talking to the president, congratulating while they're on the moon on a telephone call?
It's a phone patch into a radio.
Yeah,
that's
the problem
done
with it, Craig? What's the problem that you see with it?
It's just ludicrous. Like the fact that we supposedly went to the moon.
Yep.
How many times it was? 5 or 6 times or something like that. Back in the 60s. We haven't been back for 50 years.
Yep.
Neil Armstrong won't swear on the Bible. Even there's an astronaut. What about the Van Allen belts? You know what I mean? They weren't They didn't know about them then, so they weren't an issue. But like now they are.
Knew about them, man.
Yeah, they did know about them. They tried. The route they took to the moon tried to avoid them to the maximum extent, but those guys did suffer. A lot of the astronauts had severe health problems in future years because of the radiation that they did receive.
There's so much footage that NASA have put out claiming to be real that have been proven that being fake.
Like what?
Like, have you seen the astronauts supposedly on the ISS and with no gravity doing flips, and they've got harnesses? You can clearly see them.
I've seen
the
claims, but I've not, I'll be honest, I have not seen anyone that makes me think, that does look, whether it is or not, that looks like a harness. I've not seen one. If you do have a clip of that, or at some point, please feel free to send me the link, Craig. I would be interested.
Absolutely, and the green screens and whatnot. There's so much there. That's what I mean. It's compelling. The more you look, the more you find, and NASA just, you can't be trusted.
Pareidolatry, maybe. You want to see something that looks like it's fake, so you see something that's fake. I mean, because
hey, I'm not seeing stuff. I'm looking. It's been exposed. That like there's people
and
out
it's been proven that was not what you say it is.
Well, so the astronauts tried to say that the Earth shot through the photo. I mean, that was fake. They tried to say that that's the round Earth, and then the light comes on inside the module or whatever.
Craig,
there's so much deception going on. Like, have you seen the thing that landed on the moon? Do you really think that we went there and landed on the moon?
Well,
that
Craig,
we
Craig,
didn't.
Craig. Someone's just asked, because you know that they're talking about going back to the moon within the next few years, and it is only a very few years. Let's say that mission takes place next week, and then they send back, modern standard video, HD TV video of them on the moon. Would you believe it then?
Show me just give us a picture. Give us an absolute picture that's not CGI. One picture. You talk about that Japanese
Himawari
satellite.
Himawari, yeah.
Like it's not real. Like,
Why do you say it's not real? I mean, other than it's not real, why do you say it's not real?
because they haven't been able to give us one genuine picture of the Earth in all these years. Why not?
Why is it not genuine? What about that picture? You look at that and show me where and what gives you the clue that it's not genuine, other than saying it's not genuine.
Because I know that this space doesn't exist.
Okay, at this point, we're probably going to go round in circles at that, aren't we?
No, but that's why. That's why. For me, that's why I know it's not.
Now, listen, guys. This has been fabulous. I've really, really enjoyed it. So, Craig, I mean, I did ask, and you said you were up for a debate at some point. So, I really would like to do that. If you're up to do it. I don't mean up for it as in can you take it. I mean, if you want to.
For sure, I think it's important, like, to do that too. We need some sort of references, like some videos to prove some points. I don't know how we'll go about doing that. Yeah.
Well, what we could do is we could, if you've got some subjects, I've got some subjects. You can send me the links, and I can feed the video through and stuff like that. We could do that.
Yeah. No,
and you might want to produce some slides and whatever. Yeah. No, it sounds really good.
I just think it'll be good. Like, yeah, I know I get a bit passionate about this and that.
Of course.
But for you see it so clearly on your side, Chris, and I see it very clearly for my side. And that's okay.
Oh yeah, and I didn't mean to get off on that tangent. I mean, we just kind of went down that road, and I was like, anyway, I do have to get out of here. I have to get ready for another live stream that doesn't involve anything other than my opinion of what a particular operating system is.
Okay, well, thanks very much for joining us tonight, Chris. Much appreciated.
Okay, and you guys have a good day and night, and talk to you again at some point.
Take care. So, Craig.
Yes.
Yeah. Honestly, it has been a total pleasure. I think the amount we agreed on was virtually nil, but that's cool.
I'm just reading some of these comments from your loyal entourage of followers.
Well,
it's great to see. I love it. It's definitely given me some stuff to go back and do a bit of research about as well.
Well, that's all you can ask.
And I'm excited to do that because, like I said, I'm a truth seeker, and I'm up to being challenged.
And I think that's wonderful. And I would hope that I am, because I mean, obviously, I'm as sure as I guess you are on your views. I'm sure about the globe Earth. So yes, we said about this sun, moon, both in the sky eclipse. I learned about this Selenian eclipse. So that's something for me to look at. Yeah, great stuff. If we both come out here learning something and perhaps understanding a bit more about the other side, that's all the good.
That's it.
Now, I don't know how you are for time, but just to let you know and let everyone know viewing, it is popping up in the chat. The Shills, the Silly Shill Show, which will have the Drunk Monkey, is just popped up saying it's going to start shortly. Conan's just putting a link in there, and I'm going to drop it in again. I would very, very much like for everyone to go in there. Please say hi. And if you mention cheese a couple of times, they know I sent you. That would be great. Okay, so Craig, it's been a pleasure, sir. And I definitely would like to do this.
Absolutely. But this was just, like I said, ad lib, not even 24 hours notice. So
Absolutely.
next time I'll have a bit more information ready at hand and probably sound a bit more like I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I know where you're coming from. If you just dropped in it, I'm sure I'd feel absolutely the same way, and that's fair enough. And I raised it in the chat as well to point out that this was a debate was a chat, not a debate, and it was only arranged at the last minute. So thank you again. Thank you everybody for watching. Thank you for my subscribers. I see you're in there, Poison Toad. And any of my other subs who are, patrons, any of my other patrons that are around that I just missed, I do apologise. Thank you everyone for taking part. I'll see you all next time. It's been a blast. Please, please go over to the Shill Show and have a great time there. Craig, last word from you, sir?
Yeah, see you guys. Pippa Parrot, whatever it is. Pippa Parrot. Yeah, I'll have a look at that link soon. And I'll talk to you guys again soon.
Okay. Cheers. Thank you very much, everyone. Good night. Stay sensible.